Columbia, Tennessee, and I have a company called Artisan Industry. We make these wonderful things for kids. The school, we did the previous school where we did an underwater cave for the reading room. And so we also made trees there for them. So this time it was their vision to say, hey, can we create a treehouse in the sky? So creating the reading room as the inside of a tree, and then of course outside the tree, like in a treehouse, the sky is all around us. We happen to be really good at making trees for some reason. There's a texture here that I created by accident that looks like a tree bark, and this is made out of industrial materials. It's actually insulation, commercial insulation. And I was spraying it one day and they go, hey, you look like tree bark. And I'm like, hey, good idea, let's make some trees. And we made probably hundreds of trees by now with the same system. So it was an accident. It's particularly special to me because every project is different. We make a lot of trees, but we have never made this tree before. And the next tree we'll make will be completely different as well. So I like my job because we're always doing something different. We're not building the same thing over and over and over again. How to get a big tree like this in a little tiny door, right? So what we did is we actually had to make the tree here inside the room, when most of the time we make the trees in our big shop and we take them apart and we will trailer them. And a lot of times the facilities have big enough openings to get the parts in, but only a one little man door to get this big tree in was the challenge. So we actually built it from scratch right here in the room. I think that a lot of the current school systems, like going back a few decades, was more for placing the kids in their role in the industrial society. And I think it lacked a lot of creativity. I think kids, when they're young, that's when they create their personalities. They need to be inspired and to create. I think we were all meant to create. So I think if you don't start at a young age to give them an environment to think creatively, I don't think they will be as useful to society when they grow up. What wonderment? Wonderment. We use that word all the time. The only true word you can use for that. It's wonderful that the reading room is inside a tree in the kid's mind, because before it was just a room inside of a room. Now we get to go inside the tree and hear a story. So, and secondly this is not normal architecture. That's exactly my point, just another room before. Now it's actually something, a totally different architecture, whether it's a tree or an undersea cave or something like that. The kids' imaginations, now they go through this portal into another world. And I think it just opens up your mind totally. So yeah, the architecture of a tree is way different than the normal architecture. But I will say I have a dream that every kid in America has a tree house in his backyard that comes with its own tree. So we have a plan to create small tree houses to put in your backyard where your swing set would be. So when you can create something in your community that is remarkable, meaning in the true sense of the word, that somebody will remark, oh, that's the school that has the big tree in it, or that's the restaurant that looks like Havana, Cuba. That's the goal, is to create something in your community that doesn't exist yet that you can remark on. We run into obstacles every day, both with the physical property and with the humans, because this is something that is created new every day. Every day in our business is something new. And so you have to be able to overcome challenges every day because you've never walked in that area before. Now, I know how to make a tree, but a lot of the locals that we have here, they're not used to making this. And like, how do we put foliage up and how do we do this? So to me, we're like the Marines. We have to adapt and overcome every day. And you guys make trees, it's fun and easy. No, it's not. It is very difficult. There's a gene in my family that runs in the men that at a young age, macular degeneration, which is typically an elderly person's disease, will start to come into our eyes, which, so when I was 13 years old, it started to come, and by the time I was driving age, I started noticing that I couldn't pass the eye test. For me, it came on so slowly I didn't recognize it, but today you see me with this. So if I'm going to look at the text on my phone, I need this. The irony is, this is only because I've lost my central vision, which is what you see through two straws. The rest of my vision, peripheral, is better than the average person. And your subconscious causes you to decide whether you like something or not through composition, contrast, and color. So the simple way to say it is, I see consciously what a normal person sees subconsciously, and it makes me a better designer because I can design to the subconscious likes. And it really is a gift. I don't think I would give it back. I use the locations on my photos, and you zoom in, it just is like, this is all the places I've made stuff.
Started teaching here in 5th and 6th grades, the media center now was both upper and lower school. One side was for lower school, one side was from upper school. There was an office space in the middle, and it really was a tiny space. We built our new upper school library, I can't even remember when, probably around 2000, and then we took over the entire lower school library. So from that point, since 2000, we have been waiting for the opportunity to really make it an elementary learning space. And that's where the tree comes in, and the idea of escaping into the tree for a reading nook to just enjoy your favorite story. I met with Dr. Lori, and we came up with this idea of creating a reading tree. And if you think of The Hobbit and Swiss Family Robinson, some really good classic literature that sparks imagination in children, that's pretty much the inspiration, if you would, for our library. And the artist who has created this library has gone beyond any imagination or any creativity I could even possibly think of. What's coming to life in this library is possibly the most exciting learning space I've ever seen in 40 years as an educator. Creating a space where children can't wait to get to. They can't wait to go see the book. They can't wait to go pick out a new book. And it's a place where you can actually enjoy reading. When I was growing up in Vermont, we all summer long ran up, climbed up into the tree, nobody could find us, and we could read all day long and nobody could interrupt us. And the library was always for me a place of excitement. So I spent Saturdays in the reading room at our local library. I couldn't wait to get there after school. I actually even worked there in high school. I worked at our local library. So for me, literacy and the excitement of reading was housed in the library, and I wanted to create that same thing for our lower school. I'm sending out a little preview to my teachers in my August newsletter to them to give them a couple of pictures of what it might look like. Not the finished product, of course, but where we are right now. Honestly, I'm going to spend the whole first week of school just in that area of lower school to see those kids' faces when they see this tree, when they see the entrance to the library, when they come upstairs and see how the theme goes through every aspect of what their activities will be when they're in that space. I don't know who's going to be more excited, my teachers or my students, but I do know that the energy this media center is going to create for this school year is going to be incredible.
I think it's amazing. I'm speechless.
I think it's literally amazing. Like, it feels like something that you would dream about. It looks so cool, and I literally want to live here.
And I love the library. I like how it's super detailed, and I like the birds on the trees and the chipmunks. And I love the library so much. It's so gorgeous.
It's really cool. I can't really remember the other library now, and I think it's like a book.
Oh, yeah.